Yeah. It's okay. I didn't ask anyone, so I'll do it. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the O'Fallon Park and Recreation Advisory Board meeting for April 8th, 2025. Could I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Elder,
Present.
Mr. Hester,
Present.
Mr. Kester,
Present.
Ms. Paul is excused, Ms. Snyder is excused, Ms. Williams,
Present.
Ms. Wilson,
Present.
Councilmember Thompson is absent, Councilmember Roth,
Present.
Okay, fantastic. We do have a quorum. All right, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting. Everybody should have had that in advance of tonight. Are there any comments, questions, additions, or corrections? Hearing none, can I have a nod for approval?
Wilson.
Wilson, can I have a second?
Williams.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, our agenda is official for the record. Next is approval of the meeting minutes from our previous meeting, which was last month, March 11th. Again, everybody should have had a copy of that, an opportunity to read through those. Any comments, questions, or additions to the meeting minutes from March? Hearing none, can I have a nod to approve the meeting minutes?
Wilson.
Can I have a second?
Williams.
Williams. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. The meeting minutes for March are official. Moving on. Item F is citizen comments. Do we have any citizen comments tonight? No citizen comments. Okay. We're going to get some soon. Okay. Then we're going to move right along. Division reports. First up will be the Parks report.
All right, thank you, Scott. So hopefully we're done with all the rain for a while, but if you can imagine, Dames Park and Sports Park were both closed this past weekend due to flooding. Staff was able to get both parks back open on Monday. The back part of Dames was open on Tuesday. But yeah, it wasn't as bad as we anticipated for the cleanup, but yeah, unfortunately, we did have to close them down for the weekend. So, also, if you were able to get out and drove by Carshield Field, you would notice that a bunch of contractors are out there now. So, as of right now, the contractors are installing the new LED lights at Carshield. Knock on wood, the contractor says things are going very well, so they are going to finish ahead of schedule. So, they should be completed in probably within a week, if not sooner. So pretty excited about that. As soon as they're completed with that, they will start the LED conversion at Ozzie Smith Sports Complex, which will take place in June.
The LED light conversion.
The LED lighting. As soon as they're finished at Carshield, they'll come over and do Ozzie's.
Oh, okay.
Also at Ozzie's, we just got done ordering a bunch of new shade structures and shade that covers all the bleachers. A lot of that was damaged during the hailstorm last year, so we're able to start getting some of that items ordered. Also, staff completed and installed new synthetic turf inside the batting cages up at Ozzie. And just to let you know, this Thursday, I have a resolution on the council agenda to install synthetic turf at Ozzie. If that is approved, construction will take place in late October and be completed for the 2026 season. So this is a huge goal and part of the city's strategic plan to see if we can get that accomplished. And if everything goes well on Thursday, we'll have synthetic turf at Ozzie. So the weather will be kind of behind us, you know, with rainouts. Also, if you've been by Civic Park, staff is just about complete with the bandstand renovation. So it really looks good. Staff did an amazing job. Splash pad will be open by the end of the month at Westoff. And then at Westoff, if you also remember, last year we had some damage done to the mushroom. That was more of a manufacturer defect. They came and took the top of the mushroom off. The playground remains open. And actually they got it completed, shipped it out to us. Contractor called us and said it was damaged during shipment. So it is on its way back to the manufacturer to be repaired. So, and we don't have a delivery date yet. So, but we'll stay in touch with those people. Also, April 27th, which is a Sunday at Fort Zumwalt Park at 1 p.m., we'll have 2 markers dedicated by the Daughters of the American Revolution. If you remember, Lori came and spoke with us at the end of last year. So that dedication is Sunday, April 27th at 1 p.m. at Fort Zumwalt Park.
Bill,
Also-
did you say 2 markers?
Yeah, there's 2 of them.
I thought there was only 1 marker.
There's
Where are they going?
Well, one will be in front of the Heald House, which is the Patriots marker, I believe, and the other Revolutionary War one is down by the fort itself. That's the blue one, the one that you were
So when
talking
you say the front of the heel house, you're talking about the front door of the heel house, that
front door
that
on the
particular area.
north side, yes.
Yeah.
So if you go by there now, what staff did is we actually took the plaque itself, and we have this huge boulder that actually sits in the landscaping bed, and we carved out and engraved it and kind of recessed the plaque into it. So it actually goes really nice with the landscaping. So
What's the time of that? Did you say the time of that dedication?
oh, I'm sorry. It's Sunday, April 27th, and it starts at 1 p.m.
Okay.
And then just to let everybody know that we're still looking for seasonal employees. Starting pay right now, we're paying $17.55 an hour. We're working roughly 40 hours a week. And if you're interested, you can apply by visiting the city's website. And lastly, I just would like to express my deepest condolence to Bill Newsom, a former park employee who recently lost his wife. So my thoughts and prayers are with him and his family during this difficult time. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any comments or questions? First of all, thank you for sharing that last piece there. I was not aware of that. The turf. What fields which ones are we turfing?
So we will be, A and B,
Yep.
the 2 large baseball fields, will be fully turfed, infield and outfield. Field C, D, E, F, and G, the remainder of the fields will be all infield only.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
So A and B are that's the large one with the grass infield dirt. It's the largest park in the corner.
Yes, so field A is the one with the grass infield
Right.
currently, and field B is just to the west of that,
And you're turfing those 100%?
100%.
Oh, wow. Yeah, those are the largest fields out there, too.
Yes, yes, they are.
Okay.
How come you're not doing them all?
It came down to cost. We just could not afford to do. It was probably roughly about another $2.5 million to do all of them. So
So you're doing A and B in its entirety, and then the 2 fields next to it, you're doing the infield?
yeah, so basically the softball fields,
Yeah.
baseball softball fields, C, D, E, F, and G, the 3-plex, and the remainder of the 4-plex will be infield only.
Yeah.
Is that the ones on this side, like where the bands goes?
Yes. So where the 3-plexes, where we hold majority of the stage for HFF, all those will be infield only. C and D, which is facing to the north, will be infield only, and then the 2 fields that face south will be full fields.
And the ones on the other side will be totally done?
Yes.
Wow. It's impressive. So dare I ask what the bid was for that work?
Yeah.
Or has it gone out to bid yet?
Yeah, so, yes, so we have the resolution on the council agenda for this Thursday. The full contract is not to exceed $4.1 million. That also has a contingency built in there for weather and stuff. But that also includes the grooming, the pitching mounds, the plates and the bases and things like that. So it includes a full package. So next year with LED lighting, turf fields, it's going to be really nice.
Yeah,
So
it definitely will. That is going to save a lot of heartburn
yeah.
in the spring, and that's a big step forward.
It is. It's it saves definitely on the maintenance side of things, and we will, save on staff hours with overtime and things like that. As you're aware now,
Yeah.
we have staff that comes in at 9 o'clock and they work till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, getting these fields ready for the next morning for ball season. But the biggest thing is for rec, Craig and his staff are constantly, when we have a rain out, figuring out how we move these people and getting these people refunded and things like that. So I'm very hopeful and that it's going to boost revenues. We're hoping to draw from out of town now because we will have teams that I feel that will be more apt to say, I don't mind traveling and playing because I'm 99% sure I'm going to play rather than, not sure, I'm going to get rained out. And you get refunded your league fees or your tournament fees. But, if you have kids and you travel and you just travel out of state, you don't get your money back for the food and the hotel stay. So, I can see where it's a hard commitment for families to make that when you don't know if your kids are going to play. So I think this is definitely a step in the right direction. So
I have a question. Are all of those materials manufactured in the United States, or is there a potential risk that material costs could go up 20, 30% or so?
they will not. Once the resolution is approved at council meeting and the mayor and them signs off on the agreement, our price is locked in.
Right. You'll sign a contract,
Yep,
basically.
we'll sign a contract with them and our prices are locked in.
Not to
Okay,
exceed.
so there's not a force majeure in there if tariffs are imposed?
No, knock on wood, not to my knowledge. It's all here in the United States made.
And I'm just curious, with that, will all the weekend tournaments, are they sponsored and ran by third-party entities, or does the city run some of those?
Yeah, they're all organizations that
Yeah.
come in, and we basically lease the fields out.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. Okay. But the upside is that no rainouts, right?
Right. Yeah. Like Bill mentioned, we're packed throughout the year. We've got 29 weekends booked. Dalton's done an excellent job with this. But yeah, it keeps us from having to, last weekend probably would have been a mess anyway, or the weekend before last probably would have been a mess anyway. But last weekend we might have gotten Sunday in,
Yeah.
We still have the potential for some rainouts with the outfields, but generally it's the infields that'll cause you the biggest problems or the biggest staffing costs. So, like Bill mentioned, this out of the 29 that we have scheduled, there's no reason why we shouldn't get 28, 27 of them in. Whereas before, we may lose 6, 7 weekends just because of weather.
And then do we refund the money to the third-party entity that's hosting the
If it's rained out, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some costs involved. It depends on how much they want Bill's staff to work on them.
Right.
We'll charge them for some some supplies and staffing costs if they want us to work on them. But that becomes a money question for them. Do they feel like they can recoup that, or and a lot of them will cut ties. A couple of the tournaments we had early on this year, it was more of they didn't get enough teams to play, but to Bill's point, some of them might not be eager to play tournaments in the spring just because you have the volatile weather and everything. Whereas, if you've got turf, there's a guarantee that there's a real good chance anyway that the tournament's going to go.
Yeah. And last question, I don't mean to just be all over this topic, but I'm very happy that's happening. I'm sure you've done your research. What are the surrounding entities that can offer a similar situation where you've got that much turf? I'm trying to rack my brain and who in,
Well, I mean, Chesterfield just turfed a bunch of their fields. Is that
Chesterfield.
what you're asking?
yeah. So Chesterfield,
Chesterfield, we did a study. There's only a handful of
Right.
them that are often. There's a lot of high schools, colleges, that kind of thing. But as far as
complexes.
complexes, yeah, Chesterfield really is the only one close. I know I believe there's a couple in Illinois somewhere. But as a matter of fact, we have a
Fairview
week-long.
Heights or O'Fallon, Missouri, or O'Fallon, Illinois, I think.
O'Fallon, Illinois, right. We have a week-long tournament that we're scheduling, and it's a large tournament, and it's going to be, it'll be held at Chesterfield and our facility.
Oh,
So,
fantastic.
yeah. So hopefully if we put on I mean, obviously our fields aren't turf now, but if we put on a good show for them now, hopefully with the turf, they'll definitely be back next year too,
Yeah.
so.
That's great. That certainly puts us in rare territory, right? Which is pretty cool. All right. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it. Moving on, recreation report.
A lot of this will really be just staff trying to get ready for the summer months and the increase in programming and everything. We have a couple recreation assistants, which is our front desk staff that have some positions we're trying to fill. We had interviews last Friday, so we made a couple offers so we can get back into shape on our front desk staff. Pool cashiers and part-time recreation assistant positions are open, and we're accepting applications. The senior fair that we had last month had over 200 attendees with 33 vendors. So we were really excited about that. We're doing that with the Senior Resident Advisory Committee. Softball men's leagues numbers are strong with 53 teams that have signed up for the spring. Soccer season started March 29th. We had over 600 participants and 69 teams that were made out of that. We secured cricket field rentals at Sports Park every weekend through August 10th. These will run from 8:30 to 6 p.m. on both Saturdays and Sundays. T-ball and coach pitch start in early April. Each program has 60 players for a total of 13 teams. Weight room orientation has grown with 16 youth successfully completing the class this past month. Our personal training team had a successful month with 13 new packages sold. We welcomed Katie as our new concession and party specialist for the department. She was one of our full-time front desk people who left to take the recreation specialist position. So she stepped up into the new role for concessions and parties. Hiring is going much better for our concession staff, which is really important with the fact that we can open both stands at Ozzie now for our tournaments, where last year we struggled to have that happen. And we've also opened up the concession stand at Sports Park for our Saturday soccer leagues. Construction on the Lazy River at Alligators Creek started yesterday. Trivia night this past month was a huge success. We had 23 out of 25 tables sold, and really would have sold it out. There was a couple teams that last minute said they weren't able to make it. Swim team registration open, and so far really strong numbers in that enrollment. I think last year we had about 165 kids. We've already got 139 signed up, so we're really in good shape with that. Camp counselor hiring is going well, but they're still looking for some more candidates. Summer camp registration began March 1st, and slots are quickly filling up. Camp Jack only has spaces left in weeks 1 through 3. Gator only has spaces in weeks 1 through 4 and 6, and Camp Otter is about 40% full. Spring break camp had 19 registered, so that was great. And new sessions of tumbling and taekwondo begin the week of April 14th. And that's all I have.
Got a lot going on. So I'm going to get busier. Any comments or questions?
I just have a question. So enrollment continues to increase year over year
For
all of these programs you're having?
no, well, I mean, some of the programs that we have we're kind of, for instance, camp. I'll pick on Amy because she's here. we, meaning Amy, is constantly looking for more space to put kids. If I'm not mistaken, last year we still had about 100 kids on waiting list. So we just don't have any place to put them. So we've got them at the Renaud Center. We got them at Krekel Building. We got them at O'Day, which is a great place for camp, but it's not a great place to share camp with the type of rentals we do out there. Her camp is very diligent on making sure that, you know, we make that space is respected and taken care of. But we really don't have any more place to put them. So there's a lot of programming that we do that we're just out of space.
So I ask that because the population of the city continues to grow.
Right.
Which means you're going to have increasing pressure.
Yeah, that's right.
So is there a plan to try to relieve that?
I mean, there's a lot of talk, but I mean, adding parks and facilities is not a easy thing to pursue. But that's really, in some of the cases, and a lot of the cases, that's probably the only answer that we have.
That's your limiting factor, right?
Yes.
Primary limiting factor is space.
Right. I mean, if we had the space, we could expand to a lot of these, so it's a lot of decisions by my staff to figure out where our best efforts are. Things like swim team. We have about 165 kids. We've had more. But I mean, Scott, swim meets sometimes go on and on and on and on, you can't really justify another pool to fit, all the swim team, nor would it make sense to build an entire pool just to try to accommodate that. So, there's some programs that we have that, we're struggling and maybe we need to look at better ways to handle that or other things to offer or a different way to provide. But, there's a lot of programs that we're just maxed out on.
You just need another building, a bigger building, or just to add on to that one down there.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked, but again, that's not it's easy to talk about it, but fund, if we had another gym down at the Renaud Center, and this is a lot of the discussion, if we had another gym, maybe a dedicated aerobic space that was larger than what we have, we'd fill it.
You have the property for it around Renaud, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. But again, finding the funding for that is probably a whole different discussion.
I don't recall, did the report, the master plan, did it call for any expansion at Renaud?
There was some discussion of that, yeah.
But it never clearly stated this is a...
never really clearly stated it. A lot of the discussion we've had has been among staff and just, some what if and that sort of things. I don't know if that's something that we'll be able to pursue, but the discussion is absolutely there.
Mm-hmm. Any other comments or questions? All right, thank you, Craig. Lastly, tourism and festivals report. Do you have an update there?
I do. Staff is at the peak of bookings for the event season. Time frame is being used for securing and planning for the upcoming 2025 season. This is where they do a lot of their purchase orders and any bidding that they need to do, and that's all complete so they can go right into the event seasons. Whiskers and Wags is May 3rd. It's at Civic Park from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Showcase and green space activities. The O'Fallon Police Department has their canine demo, and then we have a Bow Wow Canine Entertainment for some of the showcases. Pause on activities. We have paw painting, splash pool, face painting, and we have an inflatable, music, dog toy making center, which is will help with donations to an animal shelters. We have 10 non-for-profit agencies registered, which is awesome. Vendors, supplies, and services related to all of our four-legged friends. Supply drive April 10th through 30th. Drop off at City Hall or the Renaud Center. List of items needed on the website. Jammin' opens up May 27th at Civic Park. The bands are there from 6:30 until 9 p.m. Count of Monte Carlo, which is a party band, will kick off the summer on the 27th. HFF, rock headliner is Neon Trees. That was announced last month. Country is we're still finalizing some paperwork, so I can't talk about that. But we will have the full headliners announcement on April 24th during the city council meeting. Parade applications opened yesterday. Vendor space is almost full. We're connecting with new sponsors. Actually, sponsorship has been going really well for Heritage and Freedom Fest. We have a glass blower booked, so that'll be kind of cool. We have a hands-on activity, which is like NASCAR. They have an actual car you can sit in and simulate driving, and then they have some other simulated areas that you can, act like you're driving a NASCAR. And then we just booked, she's so excited about this. She booked oversized helium balloons. There's 3 of them. They're 13 by 13 foot stars in red, white, and blue, and someone will carry them through the parade. So,
Oh, that'd be nice.
yeah, the picture looked really nice. So that's all I have.
It's gonna be fun.
It's a lot there, too. Okay, you said Neon Trees. That's the main stage act for...
Yep, yeah, for rock, yep.
Well, according to Wikipedia, they're an American rock band founded in Provo, Utah. The band received nationwide exposure in late 2008 when they opened several North American tour dates for the band The Killers, which I know, I've heard of. Not long after, the band was signed by Mercury Records, and their first single, Animal, climbed to number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100. So that's very cool. Okay.
Keep up.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, any comments, questions on the tourism and festivals report? No. Okay. Next item on the agenda is old business. I don't think we have anything under that category. Stand corrected. Okay. Then we're going to move on to new business, and we have one item, and that is the youth program presentation by Amy.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Amy. I am the recreation specialist in charge of youth programming for the city of O'Fallon. Today I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my job, what I do. It's been a couple years since I've presented to you guys, so I'm happy to be back. Just a little bit about me. I actually started as a part-time employee for the city of O'Fallon in 2014. Imagine that, working for day camps. It just kind of reeled me in. I graduated from Mizzou with my degree in psychology. And then being roped into Parks and Recreation, I became full-time here in August of 2018. So now going on year 7. I'm one of the long ones here. And yeah, having a good time. And then here's just some pictures of having fun with my coworkers, staff. If anybody was at the events, the top left is actually the grand opening of O'Day, and the top right is the grand opening of Krekel. And those were just a few months after I started, so started with the ground rolling there. And then Just a little bit about my job, kind of a big overview. These are all of the programs that I am in charge of, that I coordinate and run. We have tumbling classes at the Renaud Center, Taekwondo classes, any youth programs that I can kind of think of. We have our recreation station, Rec Explorers, Core Kids. We have our civic dance program that's at the Krekel Civic Center, and of course, day camps. And then we have our manager on duty shifts at the Renaud Center, and then we help with events as well. So we'll work tables at any of the festivals events, handing out information on programs, the Renaud Center, and then working events like HFF in the parking lot and things. So. And then I'm gonna highlight day camps just because it's coming up and we're about to hit the ground rolling. So we have a little bit more than just our summer camps. So we offer spring break camp at the Renaud Center for a week. That just happened, I think it was 2 weeks ago. We have our holiday break camp that is 2 weeks at Renaud Center, the week of Christmas and then the week of New Year's. We have summer camps, and Craig mentioned we have 3 different locations at pretty much all of our buildings. And then our counselor in training program at the Renaud Center and at Krekel. And then to highlight summer camp, our 3 locations are Renaud Center, Krekel, and O'Day. A total of 240 campers are in our program per week. It is 11 weeks long and ages 6 to 12. Camp Jack allows 85 campers and 8 counselor and trainers at the Renaud Center. Camp Gator, Krekel Civic Center, 105 campers and 8 counselor and trainings. And then Otter at O'Day was the new camp that we started in 2024, allows up to 50 campers. And then our programs have accommodations and inclusion as well. All right, and then planning. It is pretty much a year-round process. Specifically for summer camp, I like to start before the next year even ends, because the staff that I have are the ones that implement all my crazy ideas and everything that I have going on. So I like to talk to them, see what kind of didn't go right and what we can adjust with the kids, with our structure and anything like that, and get ideas from them. And then I try to take a little bit of a break in September, October, and get some other things off the ground and running, and take a little bit of time and breather after that summer, and then start booking field trips in November, emailing staff that want to return the next summer, posting the jobs that I need to hire for. Then we have our holiday break camp in December and January, and then January we're finalizing my leadership team, getting all of the information finalized, and then we post all of the information for the parents to know in February that's registration dates, field trip information, pricing, all that good stuff that they want to know. And then March, we have our spring break camp. Camp registration is usually the first Saturday in March. And then accommodation meetings with their parents start in March. And then in April, lots of prep, hiring, finalizing things, ordering of supplies. And then in May, we have our staff training week, and then camp begins the day after Memorial Day. All right, staff. We touched on it a little bit. Hiring is going great. Just kind of an overview. I have 3 camp directors, 7 camp leaders, and then 3 counselors. So there's 1 camp director and 3 leaders at Jack, also the same at Gator, and then 1 director and 1 leader at O'Day.
It says 50 counselors.
Yep, a total of 50 counselors. So there will be 20 at Renaud Center and Krekel, and then 10 at O'Day. And that's kind of a bit of overhiring just because staff need time off. They don't all 50 work every week. So it's just to make sure that we have enough staff. And then training week is the week before Memorial Day, and our training is typically 4 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. So I have 25-ish hours to cram a lot of things in and get them prepared for the summer. We go over policies, procedures, learn the games that they're going to teach and play with the kids. We do mandated reporter training, and then we do our training, it's called UCARU. It's a program that I am trained in to train our staff that is trauma-informed care and restraint-free approach, because we never counselor want to put hands on the kids and know that we're there for them and that they're safe, and just kind of help them work through whatever's going on. And then just so that we can have a little bit of fun and not get into the thick of the summer for the staff, we try to work in fun things like staff dinners, a bead competition. Bragging rights is a game that they play against each other that the kids can root for, and the counselors love to win. They get a t-shirt and they're all about it. And staff recognition, just trying to pump them up and get them excited to continue throughout the long 11 weeks. And then we do Wacky Wednesdays that are just fun dress-up days and stuff with the kids. So here's some pictures of the awesome staff. And just to brag about them, they are amazing. They surprise me every day. They come in, they just want the kids to have a good time. They have such big hearts, and the kids see that and are always excited and love to be around them. And I just love to see them come back every year and grow, and then eventually move on into their future jobs. So. All right, and then I mentioned a little bit of accommodations. So what does that mean? What does that look like? Any program through our department, you can put yes to accommodation. So when they register, there's a question that's worded: is there a possibility that extra support or attention will be needed for successful participation due to a disability? And then the person registering can put yes or no. And then after our registrations start coming in, I look and see if anybody has put yes. And they'll put like a little description of what's going on, or if they don't, I reach out to the parent and see if they can give me a little bit more. And then I send them to our inclusion coordinator, Brita Waite, and then we work on setting up a meeting with the parents. And this meeting is typically about 20 minutes to an hour, and we just gauge their needs. And it's, parents can put yes for various reasons. So we just kind of break down those reasons, their struggles, what my staff can do to help. And it can be maybe they need a direct counselor with them to help them through their day, a direct one-on-one with them all day. Or they just might need some breaks throughout the day if the camp environment gets a little bit too crazy for them. They need to take a step away, help with social interactions and things like that. So it's very specialized plans based on the kid, and then we just kind of work from there. And then all these numbers are breakdowns of kind of what the accommodation numbers have looked like over the past couple years. We are just seeing that a lot more kids are struggling. Not quite sure why, just kind of the day and age, I think, and that there is more need and more help. So, yeah. And then we have our 2024 numbers, some revenues. Camp Jack made approximately $148,000 last year. Camp Otter was around $70,000, and Camp Gator was $174,000. Those registration numbers that you can see will hopefully only get bigger. We're just trying to make sure when somebody unenrolls that we can pull off of our wait lists and get as many campers in there and as many parents having their kids in our programs as possible. And then those pictures at the bottom are just kind of examples of our program activities. The one on the left is just an example of just Camp Jack programming and kind of what we do just for one camp. And then the bottom right is a daily schedule. The counselors follow it, go to different areas, play games and activities with the kids. They'll swim twice a week, and then we do a field trip activity, typically on Fridays, but there might be an odd one where it's on a Wednesday or Thursday. And then our changes for 2025. We did start with cutting camp, bumping it up to age 6 instead of age 5. In all previous years, it was ages 5 to 12. So we did bump that up to age 6. The reason for that is kind of like I mentioned, just kids seem to be struggling. It's 2025, so we are getting a lot of kids that were toddlers or even born during COVID. So we're just seeing the socialization skills are taking longer to progress, and they're just struggling a little bit more. So to be able to help our staff out and be able to continue providing a good program, we did bump that up to age 6, and we're not really seeing a hit in our registration numbers as of now. There's so many kids in our growing community and in the area that need camp, and our wait lists were so long last year that we're not taking a hit on any of that. And then Camp Otter, we did not offer, if you noticed, before and after care last year. It was a new camp and we just wanted to test the waters. And it seems like that was a need for parents. So we added that this year, full before care, and then after care, unfortunately, only until 4:30, just because of the building and needing to do tours and clean for events on the weekends and things like that. But hopefully just that extra hour will be able to help parents. We bumped our counselor and training program from 6 weeks to 8 weeks, again, to kind of help the parents have a little bit more care, and then also to give the kids more training, working with kids, and be able to help us out as well. And then I'm working on rescheduling our training week to be as beneficial as possible in preparing the staff, because as the kids grow and change, so do the staff. And I'm just seeing that they learn a little bit differently than how I was doing training in the past. So I'm adjusting it a bit to try to be as beneficial. And then we are also organizing our groups a little bit differently so that we can allow for more eyes on the groups as well. So we figured it out to where we can free up a staff member to be able to look after the whole group. So, thanks. And some more fun pictures. That is all that I have. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, does your staff come back every year, or do you have to keep hiring more people for your staff?
I do have pretty good staff return. I actually have a lot returning this year. I would say it's probably 45 to 50% return.
What's
Yeah.
the age range?
Of the staff?
Yeah, just-
So I prefer to hire starting at 16, and then I have teachers that work for me. So 24, 25 years old, they're kind of working their way into my leadership team. But yes. And actually this year, while my hiring is going on, I am seeing more college kids actually. It kind of varies through year to year. Last year I did have a lot of high school. This year I'm getting a lot of college that are majoring in education or PT, OT, that are eventually working with children and want to get that experience and want to be around the kids, which is really exciting.
Now, do you have, your kids that do they come back every year to the camps, or do you have all new kids every year?
We have a lot of kids that keep coming back year after year. There's even, because I started as a camp counselor, there's kids that were around when I was a camp counselor that now work for me. They just kind of grow up through our program or want to become counselor and trainers when they age out, when they become 13, 14, want to just continue in the program. I think they see the fun, caring environment that we have, and they just keep coming back. So, yeah.
You said you had counselors, you had a lot of kids sign up with disabilities. So is that specialized training for counselors that deal with those particular special students or special campers?
Yes, so we work it into our training. That UKERU program that we talked about does a lot of that, and just kind of talks about how the brain works and what we can do if somebody is escalating, ways to calm them down or just help them if they're having a tough moment. And then our inclusion coordinator, Brita Waite, is with me during our training as well. So when we create the plans, we go over them with the staff and train them, sometimes on specific kids that we have, and depending on their needs, we gear the training towards what they're going to see.
So does that mean all of your counselors get that? It's a blanket training for all the counselors, or do you have counselors that specialize for kids with disabilities?
The same training for all the counselors. Yep. Because even if they're not directly working with a child, the child is in their group and around the other children. So we just want to make sure that they understand why maybe that staff member is doing the things that they're doing for that child. So they all get the exact same training.
Do you have a lot of handicapped children that come?
Not often. We've had some children with mobility struggles come to camp. Not any right now. We're in the middle of meetings, so I don't know full histories of campers at the moment, but occasionally we do, yeah.
You don't turn them down then?
No. Nope.
Are there kids that sign up for the entire summer, or is there a limit to how many weeks they can sign up?
Nope, no limit. A lot will actually sign up for the whole summer.
The whole summer would be how many weeks?
11.
11 weeks. Okay.
Yep. There is, they're still in school for a bit of week 1 because it's the week of Memorial Day.
Yep.
As far as I know, unless it's changed, their last day is May 30th.
Yep.
So sometimes parents will just bring them to camp and they won't finish the last couple weeks, or will get private schools tend to let out earlier, and homeschooling as well. So registration's lower those first weeks, but we still want to be able to offer it because we know that might be a need for some parents.
And what's the hours, typical hours of camp?
So normal camp hours are 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Before care starts as early as 7, and then after care as late as 6, and then ending at 4:30 at O'Day.
And if I remember right, you had about 10 staff members at each camp during the day. Is that all right on average?
10 at O'Day, and then 20 at the other 2.
Oh, wow, 20.
Yeah, that's not including the leadership staff.
Okay.
Yeah, which adds 4 at each location.
Okay. I appreciate you sharing those revenue numbers. Just my brain works. I started already trying to crunch the numbers, right? Okay, you got how many staff members? What do you cost per day? So
Yes.
I'm curious,
What does it cost per day?
yeah.
I don't know. Off the
Well,
top of my
better
head.
question is, what costs are there beyond direct salary expenses for staff?
So just supplies. We do a kitchen type snack building activity once a week. The cost of field trips, we only go on 3 away field trips, so there's only 3 times I'm paying for buses.
Right.
We limited that because of the cost of buses in the past few years, and we've had a lot of success and a lot more comfort in the campers and bringing things to our camps, and they have just as much fun as going to the movie theater. And then all of the equipment, craft supplies, the kind of gator balls, we call them gator balls, they're like the foam ones that they play the games with, hula hoops, just stuff to keep them entertained.
It's relatively insignificant. There's not a lot of cost.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know what the bottom line numbers are in those camps.
too would be curious.
And the reason I ask is, my inclination is it's probably pretty good, if the costs are mainly staff. We already own the facilities, right? So I assume we're not charging ourselves rent to utilize it.
If you like, we'll work on those numbers. I'll bring them to you next month.
I'm interested because it's one of those things that, depending on where that shakes out, there's an opportunity there for the department in general to maybe.
So during budget time, we kick around the numbers for each of the different, especially the larger programs and everything.
Yeah.
But I want to look at them again before I
Yeah, please do.
say anything.
I could be way off base with my.
We'll definitely bring those numbers back to you next month.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
What's the department's objective? The department's objective isn't to make a profit out of the programs. Is it to just be self-funding, so it can self-fund and that's it?
We do try it. Thanks, Jim. We definitely try to make a profit where we can, and what that does is it helps us do things that we don't make a profit off of. A lot of the senior programming is not a huge revenue producing thing. So some of the very successful programs like camp, will allow us to cover some of the costs that we're doing in other programming. We don't sit there and create a direct line of the revenue we make off a day camp goes to this program or this program. But overall, the ones we can make money off of allow us to do more things with some other programming.
So then, if that's the objective, do you try to follow inflation with the pricing for the programs?
Yes. Well, so like the last 4 or 5 years, the state of Missouri has an escalated minimum wage thing. So we had it planned out for those, I believe it was 5 years of programs were escalating as that minimum wage was going up. We're above minimum wage because we feel like we have that better way to entice part-time staff if we're 50 cents, 75 cents above minimum wage. But to maintain that, and then recently with what happened at the last election, where minimum wage went up to, I forgot what it was, $14.50, and now this 2026 it'll go to 15. Anyway, so we make changes to our part-time matrix to make sure that we stay ahead of that, and with that, all the fees and all of our programming change as well. Unfortunately, with camp, correct me if I'm wrong, Amy, but I mean we've increased the fees to camp probably the past 6 years.
Yeah, it increases a little bit every year, but through my research, because a lot of the surrounding areas, they release their information before we do, and we are one of the cheapest camps in the area. So we don't want to price gouge parents or anything like that, and we try to keep it as low as possible by just increasing a couple dollars because of staff wages going up, just kind of keep breaking even on that. And yeah, it's raised a couple dollars every year. I try not to do more than like $15 to $20 per week. So,
Well, what's the cost for a child to go there for a week?
if they're residents of O'Fallon or members of the Renaud Center, it's $165.
$165 a week.
Yep, just for normal camp time, and then before care and after care is $40 each. Yep, or $65 if they enroll in both.
So for those that need special accommodations or even up to 1-to-1, which costs you more money, do you charge for that, or is that just absorbed by the program?
Nope, absorbed by the program.
Okay.
And Amy, who's doing your training? Who's training your counselors?
I do.
All of it is you?
Yes. Yeah, I do all of the training along with our inclusion coordinator, Brita, and her staff will come in and help as well. And then I don't do the mandated reporter training. We have the Child Advocacy Center in Wentzville specifically come and train our staff on that.
And you do the Acuro training yourself too? You
Yes.
do that?
Yep.
So she's trained as a trainer. So she gets, more intense training.
Yes, it's a yearly certification that we get. We just did it a couple of years ago. We re-up it just because they keep their information fresh and they want to make sure we have the most fresh information, and we get recertified so that we can train our staff as well. Anything else?
Are you from the area, Amy? Are you from?
I was born and raised in St. Peters.
Okay.
Still live there, but
Okay.
work in O'Fallon.
Thought I'd ask.
Yes. Yes. My sister is Katie in Volunteer Services.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look a lot alike.
Yeah. Do we? So I hear that we talk the same and have the same mannerisms. So now that you know it, you're not going to forget it.
Well, Amy, thank you. I appreciate it. And
Thank you.
Craig, I appreciate you offering to share a little more insight on those numbers too. So,
Thanks.
Thank you, Amy.
okay, thank you. Okay, we are near the end here. So, next item is for the good of the order. Does anybody have anything to share tonight? Don't be shy.
And I'm excited about things turning green, flowers blooming. I can't wait to start going around to the parks and seeing what new beautiful plantings we have in the parks, and so, yeah, I think it's terrific. I'm looking forward to it.
I have nothing.
I'm excited about that turf. About 10 years too late for me, but okay. Otherwise, I think it's a good thing for the, congratulations to you all for being able to secure that funding.
There was a mention, I don't know if it was last meeting or the meeting before that, about either touring the parks or
Couple meetings ago.
having our meeting at the parks, or I don't know if you want to entertain that, or if this is the time to discuss that, or if we want to shoot some emails out and just try to get an idea. We'd be happy to, I'm sure Bill would be happy to show off his parks, or if we wanted to have a meeting. I think the last meeting we had was at Zumwalt, I think, by outside the Heald Home. But whatever you guys want to do, we're open to any of that.
I would recommend we do it, the months of May, June, July, and August. It could get a little warm maybe at some point, but I would be all for it. I would probably lean on you all to just schedule it and give us a location, and we'll show up, unless there's somebody here that has a strong preference for, a location.
Well, I think we should consider the Heald Home at least for, there's any reason why we couldn't have a meeting at the Heald Home? That would be, if some of you haven't been to the Heald Home or to the log cabin, maybe it would be a good opportunity for you to see what's going on there as well.
Do you want it in the Heald Home, and then maybe we could do, a trip around the park? Bill can
That's some,
show off
It's
the
at
park
some-
or something.
It's open and you can see?
right, yeah. So, it's a nice building, it's interesting, there's history there, there's, storyboards, and, I happen to be a docent, so I could give you some information. But if you haven't been there, it's worth seeing, and it's something that we should all be aware of, so we can talk to people about it, let, people know more about it.
Zumwalt, O'Day, probably even Civic Park, those are some of the more obvious ones. I would be open to whatever. Yeah.
Not canals.
I've been there many times. I don't need to go there.
Not a lot going on there. But anyway, I appreciate you bringing that up, and we'll just wait to, sounds like the board is open to that.
I'll talk to Bill about it, but if you guys are interested in going to the Heald Home, I think that sounds good, and, maybe we can, I don't know, we'll put together some presentations or something.
Yeah, we can definitely put something together and have it at the Heald House. And, with Craig and I and some staff, we can get gators and stuff and just, jump in the gators and drive rather than everybody trying to walk around the park. So
Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything over the top. It's
Yeah.
just, if anything, it's nice to be outside, right?
Yeah.
In the environment that we talk about, especially in the summer. Yeah. Okay. Anything else for the good of the order? Nothing. Okay. Good meeting. Lots of good information tonight. And next month is May, so hard to believe. Okay, so do I have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
Wilson?
Do I have a second?
Williams?
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hearing none, meeting is adjourned.